We are here with Machiel Klerk. He is an expert in dream therapy. He is also a licensed mental health therapist. He's a dream worker. And I'm really impressed because he wrote a book called Dream Guidance, Connecting to the Soul Through Dream Incubation. This book, he talks about the power of dreams and how to do certain things in order to get dreams. So welcome, Machiel. How are you?
Thank you. It's a joy and privilege to be with you, AJ. And what makes me even more excited is that I've learned that you're a dreamer too.
Oh, yes. I had the chance to learn lucid dreaming when I was 7 years old because I had so many nightmares. I somehow learned to recognize that I was dreaming, and so I could wake up. Sometimes I did manage to change the dreams. But I know that you have studied around more than over 1,000 dreams, right? Or people who with dreams. You have made this a long study.
By now, many thousands of dreams I've listened to. I've written down my own dreams for decades, and visited many cultures to see how they work and engage with the world of dream.
Yes, I heard you in another podcast mentioning that you were with the tribes in South Africa and also somewhere else. Where was it? Can you remind me?
Yeah, I was born in South Africa, and so dreams actually did call me back. We moved to the Netherlands, and later on I lived in the United States. But dreams called me back to South Africa, and then I came in touch with the indigenous healers and learned a lot about their way of being with the dream. And what is always so striking and fascinating, if when you approach more indigenous cultures or cultures that have a real reference for dreaming, is that they treat the world of dream as a real world that we visit at night, where we have experiences, where we can meet guides, where we can meet other beings that have different states of consciousness, and that they are out there wanting to help us and live a more enjoyable, fulfilling life in this reality. And that there's kind of teamwork between us and the other world, the world of dreams, and that's always striking to me.
It's really interesting. Now you have developed, or you wrote down the 5 steps of a formula that anyone can use to more or less program a dream. It's not really to program it, but it's like to ask for a dream, right? Can you explain that?
Yes. It's a technique called dream incubation, and it comes back in almost any culture around the world, where people have figured out that you can ask your dream a question before you go to bed in order to get a helpful response during the night in your dream. And you can use this technique for anything that's relevant to your soul. So if I want to be a more kind, loving person, I can ask the dream, please dream, show me how I can be more kind or more loving. What's one thing I can do to eat, to be more healthy, or how can I grow my business? Anything that has to do with the realization of your soul, the dream is interested in helping and guiding. And I've just looked at all these traditions and in my own life, and then created a 5-step method on how to identify a question, ask the question, to engage in a ritual, get a dream, write it down, and then engage with the dream response in a way that that can help you implement the teachings in your day-to-day life. That's in a nutshell the 5 steps. Yeah.
Can you use these steps to, for example, ask for a healing in case if you're sick or something, or can you ask for guidance if you have some kind of problem in your professional field or whatever?
Great questions. The Asclepian tradition, and a tradition that was very alive for over 1,000 years in Greece, people would go to the temple of Asclepius mainly with the request for a healing dream. And there are many votives that indicate that people would have kind of miraculous cures, healing or cure by going through this ritual and going to the temple and dreaming and then being visited by the god Asclepius, and find either healing or at least a recipe for how to deal with the illness. And so still miracles exist, and we can kind of trigger miracle to happen by this method of dream incubation. And it doesn't always mean that if we ask a question that we get healed, but we can, if we don't get the cure right away, we usually get a recipe of how to engage with the illness in a way that is beneficial for us and that deepens our connection to life. So yeah, we can use it for healing, but also for more practical things. There's a conflict between me and my colleague at work, and I can ask what plays out between us, or what is my part in this, or I want to grow my business, and you can ask a question is, how can I bring my business better into the world so that it serves the people that would benefit from it? And then the dream is showing you how you can do that.
Can you tell us more or less your story? I would like you to tell me who was Machiel before he started this quest. I know it has to do with your father.
The real opening to the other world happened at the age of 10. My father died somewhat suddenly. He had a bad heart and had a heart operation that didn't go well, and so he died. And it was a huge shock to me and my family, and we didn't know how to deal with it. Not to deal with the grief that comes from such a massive heartbreak. And I also didn't have a worldview that was sustaining. So I didn't know what would the people would in my environment would say, well, your father is now in heaven and he's in a good place. And it would be such an empty statement, because I would be deeply grieving. How could my dad be happy while I would be in so much pain and sorrow? And so it didn't resonate. And then I carried that kind of cloud of darkness for 10, 12 years till my early 20s. I started reading Carl Jung, who gave me some clues on how to understand dreams. And then my dream life really burst forward. And I started reconnecting with my dad in the dreams. I got a sense of there's a life after death, and what life what is important in this world to learn. I started noticing that the dream is a real world that you visit. I had out of body experience in which I got scared being out of my body at once. And so I noticed there's all these different states of consciousness, all these different worlds that kind of coexist to this world. And so my world really became bigger. And I also noticed that the dream is, besides this horrible experience, also has a very benign quality, the source behind the dream that wants to help and educate and is compassionate and is loving. And so the nature of reality is that it wants to support us, and that it does that in dreams. It does it in many ways. My way has just been the world of dream. And in dreams, the idea of the Jung Platform as a business came to me. It was actually a voice that said, build a platform for Jungian psychology, which I did. And so dreams have been very essential in that way as a thread through my life. And I now like to share it with people that, hey, there is another world existing at night. And if you enter it, it's filled with potential to live a really helpful life. Like I know has happened even at a very early age for you, and ever since.
Yes, I'm interested in learning what you think about the relationship between dreams and the spiritual world.
I think that the spiritual, that one of the manifestations of the spiritual world is the world of dream. So what's really important, and it's a very simple observation, is that a dream is a world. It's a world we find ourselves in. So it's not a movie you watch. It's not a kind of a letter you get from mystery source X. No, you're in a world. And this world is created partly based on your own expectations, beliefs, intent, emotions. And on the other hand, is it not just a personal world, It's a world in which an angel can visit you, or a guide can come in, or we technically could meet each other in the dream world. And so it is a fluid aspect where one's personal life and a spiritual and the spiritual world come together. And so we can that is why we can meet an angel. And I think we all have engagements with angels in our dream, but most of us will forget it. And most of us don't even remember the dreams. But we meet angels and we meet spirit guides that help us, that tell us messages, and that probably we continue to know. And that sometimes during the day we might say, hey, I have an intuition. But I think the intuition is actually your spirit guide or an angel whispering some good idea to you.
If dreams are the portal of that lead to the spiritual world, then dreams are also a portal that can take us to the afterlife, to the world of the dead. So
Yes.
can you tell me about that, and what have you personally experienced?
Yeah. So there are many forms of dreams. Some dreams have far more show us our, and most dreams show usually more our personal situation. But also some dreams we enter into a part of the dream world where we can engage and meet deceased loved ones. And many people have been visited by a deceased loved one once or twice or three times in their life. And very often it happens if people track their dreams a little bit, if a loved one dies, in a year and a half, usually the loved one will come in their dream and somehow communicating that it goes well with them. Almost always they come and let the one that is left behind on earth know it's okay here at the other side. I'm doing fine. And I think it's a promising message that on the other side, in the world of the dead, life goes on. That they are they go through. It appears they go through a learning experience, but then they come to a good place. And I've had many different dreams. I've had dreams in which I met my father, but I've also had once lost an friend who died at a young age, and I met him in a dream state, and I was completely lucid, and I was like, "Oh, there's my friend," and I said to him, "Hey, you died," and then I was really interested, and I said, "What happens when you die?" And he said, "Well, first you go to a place and you have to wait." And you wait for your body to be buried or cremated. And it's very difficult to move on if that doesn't happen. So he said I got a choice out of three different places to wait, and he chose a nice waiting place. And I was like, oh yeah, sure, you would choose a nice place. And uh, uh, and then he said, I'm almost, my energy almost runs out here. I need to go. I need to go further. So he left, and then and I met him again later on. I asked him further clarifications about it. But it also it's one of the things it gave us an idea to me is, hey, there's a waiting room on the other end, and almost any tradition talks about we go to a waiting room. When we get at the other end, then we get a live review, and in which we get to experience the impact of our life on the people around us and all the emotions we had. So when we were nice and when we were mean, and get a sense of our purpose of our life and what we've learned. And there's a lot of healing and transformation taking place in that life review. And um, it also suggests that we're here with a certain purpose in life. It's not just we're placed here for without an aim. We're here to develop our consciousness and give our gifts to community and have experiences. So we can reframe a lot of problems in a way of thinking, if I'm engaged with this problem, why would I have this problem? What is for why am I the particular person that has this problem with betrayal, or this problem with illness, or this problem with whatever one's problem is? And it's almost always because that's some of your karma, some of your issues to learn and grow and work through. So your problems are there also as ways to help you develop more awareness. And but coming back to your sense, it appears that the dead, the deceased loved ones will visit us in dreams. It's a lot of people have had that experience, and the other part is they're in that other world. But that other world, when we open the eyes, the world of dream doesn't disappear. It's still there, but we don't see it. And so also the angels and the deceased loved ones are present right now, and we can continue to build a relationship with them so that we create a team to engage with life, both on loving life and delivering our gifts, as dealing with our problems. So we know we're not alone. We have a whole team that can help us with our problems that's on standby. And the book that I wrote is really, how can you ask your support team for help by showing you in a dream what the answer could be.
Okay, look, what if someone is watching this video and says he wants to contact you because maybe he needs to know if you can help him, or what services do you offer? Do you offer therapy online or something?
Yeah, my private practice is completely online. I do psychotherapy, mental health therapy for a whole range of problems that people face to deal with life. They can visit, probably easiest to visit my website. There's my email. I can say it is machiel@machielklerk.com. It's for most people a little bit too difficult, so if it's in the show notes, it would be helpful. So yeah, if people wanna I do regular therapy. Sometimes people come to me because they had a dream. They wanna say, hey, how can I work better with this dream, or what does it mean? And then based on a dream, I founded this Jung Platform. And there are all kinds of programs on Jungian psychology, from shadow work to synchronicity, archetypes, but also indigenous African traditions, all kinds of on narcissism, recently a summit. So we have about 180 programs on helping people to develop their personal development. Jung Platform, Jung platform.com, with some free programs that people can enroll in. So those are somewhat the services that the gifts that I try to give to the world.
Okay, you're also preparing a workshop in California, I heard.
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. Indeed, on at Esselen, a famous retreat center, I will be there at the end of August. I'm not sure if it's on their website yet, but otherwise it will be mentioned soon. There will be a 3-day program in which people really can connect through community ritual with the dream world. They come there for healing or guidance or questions or exploring the nature of reality. And people are welcome. It's going to be an interesting, fun 3 days.
Great. Have you helped people who have lost a loved one, and have you helped them contact their loved ones through dreams?
Yes. People, of course, wanna get some message from them, and there's this method also works in contacting them, and sometimes the person themselves comes when they feel both sides are ready, and otherwise they'll always give a message on. Sometimes they ask, how's it going with grandfather, or how's my dad, or how's my spouse, or spouse, do you want to tell me something? And then they get a really sacred, profound dream that that helps them with grief, but also with life. My life became so much better once I reconnected with my dad. Even it was the deepest wound, also brought forth maybe one of the greatest blessings in my life.
Great. So tell me about your book. When did you write it? Why did you write it? And how can people buy it?
They can get it at Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and also on my website. They can go. There's a website, Book Depository. They deliver the book worldwide for free of delivery cost. And I wrote it because dreams have been so helpful to me in my life and be so guiding. And I wanted to write it down and give it to other people. I sometimes think about it like I made a cookie that I really liked, and I just want to give other people the option to, I hope you like it too. And there are many ways to live life, but dreams can be a tremendous source of guidance and wisdom and compassion when engaged in the right way. And I just wrote it out in 5 really easy steps that can help people get a lifeline in their life.
Well, thanks a lot, Frederick. I think you are doing a great job by doing this research. I'm glad I met you. And
likewise, it was nice to meet a fellow dreamer and traveler on this journey.